Pahlen, and here he is.
Here he is.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks.
And it's fair to say that that William is a good friend of ours, and he's a good friend of many people because he's perhaps one of the most networked people at Hanken. And at the tender age of 21,
I talk too much. So.
he is our own wunderkind of Hanken. So tell me if I'm missing one company now. So you have a company called Indagatus, and you have Helsinki Concierge, and you're now starting. You've had the summer's most successful kind of Finnish business-orientated podcast.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, that's basically the main projects. Involved in a few others as well. They're still a bit, we're starting them up. My strengths lie in starting and in doing strategy and doing the first pitches and stuff like this. So that's why people are inviting me to participate in a lot of projects at the early stage, but then I'm trying to, move back from them because there's no time. But that's basically the main companies that we're working on right now.
But you also have a podcast, right?
Yeah, we do have, the one friend mentioned, we have the Futucast, which we discussed the future with the biggest decision makers in Finland, and it's been really fun. We met Nalle Wahlroos and Li Andersson and Jan Papavuori, and we had the Archbishop last week. That was pretty cool. That was something
I can imagine.
He had a nice house. So.
What did you discuss there? Well, how's the conversation like with the Archbishop?
Well, it was, mostly we started with him, of course. How do you become an Archbishop? What do you need to study in order if you want to set out as a kid? I want to be the Archbishop of Finland. What do you need to do? And how religious is he? Stuff like this, and then just generally about the future of religion. Where is it going? But not in a way that I believe in God, you don't believe in God, and let's have a heated debate over it.
Yeah.
Not like that. Where is it going? What's the purpose of it? If there is any purpose for religion in the future. So, yeah.
So, and we kind of set you a task today to have a look at something that sort of interests you anyway.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I'd like to introduce a fourth member or a second guest to our show, and her name is Nelli Lähteenmäki, and she is the founder of UAB, and she is also the holding company is called Fifth Corner. And if we can just get her into the picture now, we'll try. Okay, so Nelli Lähteenmäki, very welcome to our podcast and our kind of cozy corner around the cocktail table here.
Yes.
I mean, the kind of standard joke that we all often tell from Hanken is that the Hanken Entrepreneurship Society has mimosa brunches, and I was surprised coming from kind of England and these kind of cultures of health and safety that not on my watch would we have kind of alcohol served to students. But anyway, so we're used to it.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've introduced William a little bit, and we've asked him to have a look at what is it all for anyway. Misery and success don't mix. A talk by the fireside. What have you got to report?
Well, I was there indeed. I followed up on my task. I didn't forget it. It was interesting. There was this guy who basically was talking. He started with how he looked at his ecological footprints and how he stopped flying. And he made a pledge that until his charity has planted 100 million trees, he will never fly. So he came here from Ireland by boat. It took him 2.5 days, and they've now planted, I think it was 17.5 million trees. So he won't be flying for a while, but he seemed pretty happy.
All right.
Basically, what I was talking about was how basically being miserable, being happy. It's not a choice per se, but it's correlated with the choices you make. So you can set out in the morning to decide just to be happy. You wake up, you feel a bit tired, and it's dark in Finland for 6 months, and you can be depressed if you want to. But if you set out in the morning and hey, this is gonna be good, let's make this a good day, and you rise up and just be positive. That's gonna affect your overall day. So that was basically his main message, that it's all about mindset.
Yes.
It's something you can choose.
Yeah.
And then there was this, they challenged him a bit, it's easy for you to say you're a successful venture capitalist, and what about someone living paycheck to paycheck, or living in in developing countries and stuff like this. And he said that he discovered his philosophies when he was poor and miserable.
Yeah.
And he saw the poorest people are usually can be the happiest, and again the most successful people tend to be really miserable. So it doesn't really matter according to him. So it's interesting.
When I spoke to you, you said that you were very interested in that topic personally speaking. Is that also the case for you? This kind of is there personal sacrifice involved with being an entrepreneur?
Well, in my opinion, I guess there always is, because you're building something from ground up, something that didn't exist. You're basically heading out to ski in this wilderness. There are no tracks for skiers. You're creating the tracks yourself. So it means that there will be so many Mordors along the way that you don't know even to count. It's actually better that you don't know how many there are going to be, because there will be. So it's kind of, I think there's always a certain level of sacrifice, because the days tend to grow long, and sometimes you just need to do what you need to do in order to keep the business alive and kicking and growing. Right.
What are some examples? What are your personal Mordors?
Well, just a few examples. Like, I guess startups are more or less always running out of money. Like the definition, Steve Blank's definition of a startup is a temporary organization searching for scalable, repeatable business model, which means that you don't have a business model yet, which means that you will eventually run out of money if you don't find it. So it means that you have to kind of reskin yourselves all the time, which means that everything is uncertain until you find the business model.
Yeah.
And even after that as well, there's no guarantee, and everything we've done so far has been without any financing. And I can tell you, it's not a very happy place to be when you have your salaries to pay at some point, and you're looking at your account. We have five euros. This is going to be a good, let's see how we figure this out, and then need to call customers and ask, hey, can I pay in advance, or can I pay your salary later? Then you call the tax authorities and say, I'm not going to be paying taxes for the next 2 months. You have to really be creative.
Yeah.
But it's also the most stressful thing, I think.
Yes, exactly.
About this.
Maybe we then can connect this sacrifice and stress to personal wellness, which I know you are very interested in, and you are basically an expert in, if I know correctly, with YouApp. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. The name of the company we founded is Fifth Corner Inc.
Yes.
And the name of the platform and an app that we've built is called YouApp. And it's all about helping people succeed in sustainable, positive behavior change. Because oftentimes that's what we are not very good at. Because our brain is built in a way that it's sort of it kind of resists big change. We're kind of prisoners of our habits, right?
Yeah.
Like, our brain wants to form habits, and if we want to change something, we often try to do it very dramatically, or big things at once. I will change everything on Monday. And these kinds of changes, they fail, unfortunately, for most of these kind of radical changes. So we built a platform together with psychologists and neuroscientists that actually respect the laws of your brain and your psychology. So it essentially gives you small little micro actions that slowly but surely transform your health or well-being or productivity or whatever you want to change.
So I read about this micro action, and that was what I wanted to ask about. Is a micro action basically just a small step toward your goal?
In a way, yeah. You can think about it like that, exactly.
Okay.
Like doing every day something towards your goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is also what the top performers talk about. In anything you do, you have to start with the first step and make it tangible enough and make it small enough so you can actually start. If you think I'm going to build a 100 million business around AI, you don't start with calling up your investors. You start up, what's the first step? The first step is maybe sketching down something or calling someone for help.
Yeah.
And then you get it going. But I think in everything you do, you start so big. You do it so dramatically, as you said. I did it as well. I just decided in May this year that I'm going to start sleeping now better. And and some people maybe can do it, but most people won't change their habits. But I just decided, we change everything now. And I decided I drew up a sleeping pattern and just stuck to it for 5 weeks straight. I put it in the calendar. Now we do it 5 weeks straight, and if it works, I'm going to continue.
So
it actually works.
So what are your specific steps? Would you mind kind of fleshing them out.
Yeah, so for this it was still making it smaller. It's not I'm gonna change everything.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna change my sleep pattern because it's really important for everything. And then I read a book about it. That was the first step.
Yeah.
Someone who actually knows, is a sleep coach, who coached elite footballers and stuff. So I figured he might know something. And then I took the ideas that were easiest for me to execute from the book. So I'm not a morning person. So I decided, okay, I won't wake up before 8:30 any morning. So I wake up 8:30 every morning. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I have to make an exception if there's like something really important. But even Sundays, if you're out on Saturday, no matter when you come home, 8:30.
Wow.
You wake up 8:30. Then you can go back to bed, but you don't go to sleep. And then you set the waking time, and then you started building around that. And what do you do before you go to sleep? What do you do after you wake up? And good habits seem to form more good habits. That's what I figured.
Yes.
So I started eating breakfast, and I started eating lunch, and having more energy, and all this stuff. So it was basically a small step in the whole thing. And then exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, but I have a kind of similar experience that like when building my morning routine, that I was focusing only on one little action, like just like meditating 5 minutes every morning. Like 5 minutes, that's not a lot, but it kind of became a sort of a well-being anchor around which the other actions started to kind of formulate or kind of find places.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, if you focus on just one thing and keep doing it, it's a good strategy.
Way to start, for sure, and it's much easier that way because we don't have the self-discipline to make huge. As you said, our brains aren't wired that way. It's impossible. So don't force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
And sorry.
No, how do you also, because you do this for businesses too, how does that differ from the personal aspects of you?
Well, it differs a little bit. So we currently serve also healthcare ecosystem as well as corporations. It differs in terms of how would I say, like the let's put it that way, that when we serve corporations, we need to be even better than what we were before, because when somebody finds our app in the App Store, he or she is already kind of tuned in, and they have some kind of a why of downloading it, and after that it's easier for us to take care of that person.
Okay.
Whereas when we serve companies, we might all of a sudden serve kind of a population of people from very different backgrounds, very different expectation levels, and there's like, it's kind of we have to be like just more personalized for everybody, like taking into account different people's like motivational styles. Somebody wants to have a stick, somebody wants to have a carrot, somebody wants to do this, somebody wants to do that. So our platform, we've been like developing this AI, personalization AI now for the past months, so it's super interesting. So it kind of pushes us to be better.
I think B2B sales are extremely easy, and B2B delivery is extremely hard. It's very easy to sell something, but then you have to deliver as well.
Yeah.
But so UApp is not just a consumer product; you also do B2B.
Yeah.
Maybe we should back up actually a little bit and allow you to just tell us what you do.
Well, sure, but basically we use UApp not only in the consumer side where anybody can download it, but we can use UApp also as a platform, for kind of private actions that are, for example, targeted at a certain company. For example, if Hanken wanted to have their own Hanken micro-action sort of space within UApp, we could do that.
Right.
So we
would.
Yeah, and then it depends on what you guys want. Like, do you want to have like personalized Hanken branded micro-action programs for individuals, so it's personalized for everybody, and certain actions that are only like kind of visible for everybody at the Hanken group. Yeah. So we can do things like that, and we also work with Mehiläinen, which is the largest private healthcare provider in Finland, in the työterveyshuolto, in the occupational healthcare side, where they serve corporations, and help their employees, not only to cure diseases, but nowadays also help them change their behavior with UAS. So
that's interesting. Mehiläinen are very progressive, it seems.
They are definitely.
Your Fifth Corner is the company behind UApp.
Correct.
It's also it's also kind of a service provider for business.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So we do like B2C and B2B, like
Okay.
side by side.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for your business clients, like how many of the people inside the business adopt you app then if a business buys your package from you?
So, can you repeat, please?
Oh yeah, if I as a business buy you app for my business, how many employees can I expect will use the you app then?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It really depends on kind of how well we succeed in the internal communication. So if you have a strong leadership, you're like this is a strategic initiative, very, very important that everybody is taking, kind of participating, then the percentage of people signing up will be much higher. If this is some kind of a marginal thing, we really need to kind of collaborate with all, with corporations in creating the why for the, say, for example, the employees. If there is no why, why should I change?
Yeah.
Why is this important? If we can't answer these questions, then it's hard for people to even, download the app.
I think leaders are becoming more aware, and they need to, because they're going to lose their best people if they don't, focus on these things.
Exactly.
Occupational health is extremely bad in so many places.
Yeah.
In Finland, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, but this is global. I think this. If you can do it in China or somewhere, then
So do you think that explains why we now start seeing solutions crop up all over the place, branded or named wellness or well-being? Does that provide the clue for why we see a surge?
Well, from an outsider's view, you are in the field, but from an outsider's view, it's probably partly that. But it's also partly that we are able to measure stuff for the first time. We are actually able to measure, do AI algorithms that actually can suggest a relevant micro action and not just, say that, hey, you slept 7.5 hours and your optimal should be 8 hours, but it's not based on your circadian rhythm. It's not based on anything, and it's based on your phone being under your pillow, and it's stupid.
Right.
It's getting more accurate the ways we measure, so it's just possible to do for the first time.
I couldn't help noticing that you have an Aura, which is a very good example of that.
Yes, exactly.
I heard your pitch yesterday. It doesn't work.
I've been wearing Aura now for exactly 1 year, and having worked in the digital health sector for 5 years now, like with two different startups, I've never worn any tracker for a year.
But that was their main argument, that their retention rates are crazy.
Yeah, but it's something that obviously you have to find a tracker that tracks something that's super relevant for you, and I share the same thing with you, that sleep is vital. Many entrepreneurs have a hard time recovering from the stressful work, and in this case, combining data with some micro actions, I can totally it has helped me sleep better.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. It's gonna explode, I think, this field even more.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, and plus I have to say, the new version of Aura, it looks amazing.
Yes,
I'm so excited.
Okay,
they just launched
I
the
wouldn't
new.
even wear it. I don't wear any rings, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to. I'm just so excited that from Finland, Suomi, Finland, there is this beautiful, badass,
actual good design.
beautiful design technology product.
We're very happy to have you here. I know that you're kind of the power woman and the power man in many ways, or how should you say it, of many entrepreneurial things, and in Helsinki. William, but it's not all bad, we don't have to have this kind of patient perspective on everything. You're dreaming of interesting things. So one thing that I know that you've always resonated very well with you has been this kind of how can we make? I think your pitch is often I make great stuff, or creator of cool stuff is creator
something that
of cool
started.
stuff.
It sounds better than entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is so vague somehow, So,
Okay.
Creator of cool stuff.
And I remember you saying that The Game was your favorite film ever. The Game.
The Game. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a great film. Yeah, it's keeps you wondering. So, that's cool.
You founded Helsinki Concierge, which is a very interesting company. It's a bit like quintessentially the British company, quintessentially.
I have to mention that quintessentially uses us in Finland, so I have to put it in here. Just put it in here.
Okay, we'll plug that.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's been fun. It touches upon wellness as well, because it's very busy people that we help. There are private equity investors and entrepreneurs living, they lead crazy lives. I mean, the hours they put in, I don't agree with those hours. I think it's stupid, but if they want to do it, then they need this basically service around them that takes care of everything. So they they can call us for anything. And, they get their fridges stored up, and someone takes their car to do a car wash, and someone just calls me that, hey, I wanna take 22 people to Savonlinna to the opera festivities, and can you arrange everything? And we want a chef as well. So okay. And then it's off their plate. They know it's
kind of everything company.
Yeah, it's basically everything for the customers we have. So we don't serve anyone outside our customer ring. So you have to basically buy in to have this possibility to call one number that can take care of anything you need. And it's pretty fun, the things we've done, and the people you meet, and also the relationships you build with your customers.
Yeah.
They are actually grateful for what you do, and they start to depend on you, which is pretty cool for a company. I think the mission becomes much more clear that you're actually making a difference for someone.
Yeah.
And it's not very scalable, but it's something fun to do at the moment, and it's actually making a difference for someone. So why not?
Well, we're very proud of you, William. I mean, and you were of course a Hanken Business Lab member last year, and you created wonderful things, and it's a very good example for us, or maybe it's the other way around, that we've been built up around you. It might be that way. And we'd like to now replace you.
Yes, by all means. By all means.
With another Hanken student.
By all means.
He's a former Hanken student that you might know. His name is Marc-Johann Seppänen.
Yeah. Happy to be replaced by him. No problem at all.
Is it the same sort of level of greatness?
He's many steps ahead.
It's commensurate.
Many steps ahead. So I think it's good to elevate the discussion levels a bit. I'll step back. But hey,
thank you so much.
Great meeting you.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks. And if we can get Marc-Johann Seppänen in, okay. Everyone knows each other, it seems, in entrepreneurial circles.
Yeah.
Have you met each other?
No, I haven't.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, are we live yet?
We are live.
Okay.
We are still running.
Okay, nice.
And the topic of the conversation so far has been kind of on wellness, and a little bit on the kind of personal sacrifices of entrepreneurs, and somewhat related product is kind of personal security. This is something that you have kind of built a business around, and it's called GuardianX, and it's now launched. And how long has it been launched for?
GuardianX was actually launched like a little over a month ago in whole European Union, so we're live within the whole Europe, basically. So that's a huge milestone for the company.
Yep.
And next up is North America, starting with Canada. And so we're tackling the problem with personal safety.
Yeah.
And personal safety, especially personal safety of women and children, is one of the great challenges of the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's a basic human right according to UN, comparable to access to clean water and education. So we have an important mission, and we want to empower people to create more equal and safer communities worldwide. Yeah.
Our viewers and listeners might not know, what is it that you actually do with GuardianX?
Okay, so GuardianX is an app that utilizes location technology and peer-to-peer technology. So what you can do with GuardianX, for example, is that you can choose one or several of your contacts to follow you virtually from A to B. They will be notified when you arrive safely, and if something happens along the way, there's an algorithm that reacts to strange behavior, like ETA, distance, route, acceleration, even pulse and heartbeat in the future. And then if it detects strange behavior, it will ask you that, hey Mark, are you okay? And if you don't confirm within a certain time period that you're okay, it will automatically initiate an alarm and share your location with both your contacts and other GuardianX community members closest to your location.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Someone raised the issue that might there be a way of abusing the system, so that the perpetrator might actually kind of take advantage of this kind of location-based services?
That's an excellent question. So as with all the peer-to-peer services, if you think about Uber, Airbnb, so there's always the moral hazard. There will always be so-called rotten apples in the basket.
Right.
And we have three ways how we tackle that problem. First, it's anonymous.
Yeah.
You can't see who the other users close by are. And it's only using their approximate location. The other thing is numbers. The power lies in numbers. So when the app reaches out to close by users, so it doesn't reach out to 1 or 2, it reaches out to minimum of 10. So even though there would be a rotten apple in the basket, so 89% of people are still fundamentally good.
I just heard from our producers that we are running out of schedule.
Okay.
We're going to have to thank for Nelli.
Hey, thank you.
Take our next
Hey,
guest.
hey Nelli, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Honored to be in the same podcast with
yeah.
Nelli. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
thank
so
you.
much.
Hey,
So nice to meet you.
have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
And of course, the third one is screening.
Yes.
As Uber does with their drivers, so screening of the users. So it's one that we in particularly doing in North America then. Yeah.
Yeah. Marc-Johann, you're a Hanken student, and we're very pleased that a Hanken student that hasn't needed Hanken Business Lab.
Yeah.
So you managed to escape us, but we would like to extend the possibility of having you come and talk to us.
That would be great.
At
yeah.
the lab.
Yeah,
when we're
that
not
would be
at
great.
Slush
Yeah, we would say that I'm a.
And to hear a little bit more about the progress of GuardianX and its
yeah,
development.
Yeah.
Definitely, we're at growth and scaling phase, more interesting phase we're in now, and probably raising a new round next spring. So it would be great, and we're launching new markets. So we would definitely have something really interesting to share with Hanken Lab and discuss further. Yeah.
Hey, congratulations so far, and good luck with the funding. And
thank you.
see you soon.
See you soon. Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me. It's all awesome. Yeah.
See you soon.
See you soon.